set for heat number 2 for the women in event 7, Hulk Hands, presented by Mayhem Athlete. Your overall standings coming in, it is Tia Toomey with the overall lead, but not by much. She only leads Laura Horvath, I should say, by 5 points. Emma Lawson sits in 3rd place with 415 points, but there's a host of women behind her who have a shot of taking away that 3rd place position now with 3 events remaining. The event description, whole lot of work, and some things have changed here.
A whole lot of work, and we called a few audibles here. This is a chipper out and back again. These athletes are going to open with 30 calories on the Echo bike. They're going to do 20 fat bell ground to overhead with 50 pounds. Then instead of the 75-foot front rack lunge, they're going to do 20 stationary lunges with those fat bells, out for a run to drag the bag to the top of the hill, return back to the bells, more lunges, more ground overhead, and then they finish with 30 cals on the Echo bike.
Well, Emily Rolfe has the top time, 12 minutes, 16 seconds unofficially, as she won heat number 1.
Yeah, and there's a lot of women in this heat that are eyeing up that time and have the capacity to beat that score.
Laura Horvath and Tia Toomey will be right next to each other in lanes 5 and 6. That is the battle we have been watching all week long, and they currently sit in 1 and 2 in the overall standings. Toomey with just a 5-point lead over Laura Horvath, and we start with the 30 calories.
There are leaders, Tia and Laura, and Laura's an athlete that we've got to keep an eye out on. She has high levels of high power output and high work capacity. Again, these movements are simple. We're covering a lot of ground with the out and back again style. I really like her ability, not just to compete with Tia here head to head on this particular event, but perhaps to be able to recapture that lead here for 1st place.
Keep an eye on the judges as they count off reps. Obviously, the rain is throwing a huge wrench into a lot of things here, not only the schedule, but also some of our technical equipment. 30 calories here, 18-minute time cap, 12 minutes, 16 seconds. Again, that's the time to beat from Emily Rolfe in heat number 1.
Hey, it's one thing for us to say it, but to watch these athletes do it, they train for the unknown and unknowable, right? Hey, this is certainly an element that many feel unprepared for. Have you ever picked up an apparatus when it's wet? Do you feel like psychologically and emotionally you can adjust to that? These are all things that are being tested right now as we watch these athletes take the field.
Laura Horvath and Emma Lawson are your leaders right now on these 30 calories. Both of them now through 25 and counting. Gabby McGowan there as Manon Anganese is joining that fight. There's Christine Kohlenbrander. She's had a great competition, 6th place overall right now. And she's had 3 straight finishes inside the top 10. Took 3rd in seed at the bar back on Friday morning. Now Horvath and McGowan advancing to the fat bells along with Lawson and Anganese. Here comes Emma Carey. Now 20 ground overhead, 50 pounds in each hand. Alex Gazan is off, Danny Spiegel as well. That's good for Laura Horvath, as some people are getting between her and Tia Toomey right now. Now Toomey just getting off the bike, and she'll get to work.
And we're noticing a lot more of the same. Athletes choosing to make contact with the ground between their legs as they bring the bells to the shoulder and then overhead. Slight difference between the way the athletes are executing. You see more of a swing type action from Laura Horvath to get the fat bells to the shoulder, and then she executes a push press, where we see Tia kind of slightly bending her arms just a touch to get them towards her hip, then she gets them to the shoulders and she's executing a pusher.
And a lot of the women, when they picked those things up for the first time, got doused with some water as that rain has been collecting in the bottom of those fat bells. This is the heaviest rain we've seen during competition since the competition began. I mean, we had some heavy rain on Thursday, but obviously that was not a competition day until the nighttime when the rain let up. It feels a little bit slick, but not terrible according to people down there on the field right now. And actually may help with that sled bag drag a little bit when they get to Mater Hill. Laura Horvath is your leader.
Yeah, and I really like the way Laura's executing here. It's smooth, it's composed. What Tia's doing can work for her. She's slightly bending her elbows, but from an efficiency standpoint, we see that actually bleeds out a little bit of energy rep after rep.
Horvath is now on to the 20 reverse lunges. And again, this is the part of the event that changed for safety reasons. They were supposed to front rack lunge a barbell, but because of the weather, they changed it to this movement.
Yeah, and these lunges don't really look like they're presenting much of a problem to any of the athletes that we've seen go through it. Again, the footing is something they have to be really mindful of, though. Where they place that trail leg and how far it is from their lead leg is important so that they can remain balanced. And Laura Horvath in and out of there quick for those 20.
Horvath is done. And Tia Toomey, meanwhile, is starting to gain some ground. She was one of the last women to get off the bike and right now sits in 5th place in the heat as Horvath makes her way to Mater Hill.
Sean, we've seen Tia pace the 10th inning like a true pro. The thing about starting this particular event from behind is that there's less transitions, there's less opportunity to make up ground. So while she's running her own race, and of course I know she needed to pace that bike, you get this far behind an athlete like Laura Horvath in an event like this, and there's no making up that ground.
100 pounds on that bag, 45 kilos as Horvath makes her way up Mater Hill in center field at Dell Diamond Stadium. She's the only woman on this portion of the event. Now Gabby McGowan is there as well. And that bag, again, 100 pounds, that's 45 kilos, but probably soaked up with some water there that's added a little bit of weight. But Horvath is managing that okay. Now here comes Emma Lawson and Manon Anganese. Danny Spiegel taking off. And Tia Toomey has also made her way to the hill. Toomey there in the middle of the screen. Horvath smartly, I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but she decided to slide down the hill.
Yeah, it looked like she was trying to be extra sure of her footing and then just kind of gave up on it and was like, cool, I'll take it for the next 5 yards. And it wound up okay in her favor. We'll see if anyone else chooses to try to slide on down.
She's trying to slip and slide your way down the hill there. You know, work smart, not hard. Horvath is now working her way back to the Fat Bells. And here comes McGowan. And all Horvath needs to do to erase the remainder of the lead that Toomey has on her is just beat her in this event. 12:16 unofficially from Emily Rolfe is your top time from Heat 1. Now, Toomey has moved into 3rd place behind Gabby McGowan. And here comes Emma Lawson right behind Toomey. 20 more reverse lunges from McGowan and Horvath. They're getting to work on that portion of the event. And here comes Tia Toomey set to join them. Alex Gazan and Manon Anganese are also done along with Emma Carey.
That's right, okay. And a lot of this race up until this point has been these athletes vetting their own fatigue, how they feel coming into the day, how fast can I go early, how fast do I need to go in order to stay in a threatening position. And a lot of them, of course, pace that run on the back half so that they know they can pick up these Fat Bells and go 20 unbroken with the lunges.
Horvath is on her final rep, and she'll head back to the bike. So Laura Horvath looking to pick up an event win.
And she's transitioning to those ground overhead here. So she's making sure that her hands are going to be dry enough so that she can still link some reps together without losing control of those Fat Bells.
20 more ground to overhead. Jump the gun there on that. She has to complete more reps here before then she can get back to the Echo bike. Emma Lawson trying to hang on to that 3rd spot on the podium. Right now sits in 4th place in this heat. She's 20 points up on McGowan, and McGowan is ahead of her right now.
All these athletes given slight pause. This is where it was important to find a rhythm in this event, is with these ground overhead. None of the athletes really knew or had an opportunity to play with them very much leading into this point. So it was all about deciding how you were going to break them up and how long you wanted to rest, and then, of course, holding yourself accountable to that so that you can minimize downtime.
There's Gabby McGowan, who's 4 reps back at Laura Horvath for the lead. Horvath should have 8 to go here. At the 81 rep mark is when she should head back to the bike. Horvath taking a break. Toomey, meanwhile, is now in 3rd, creeping up on Gabby McGowan.
Folks, as we watch these athletes move, again, taking note Tia's form. She bends her elbows before her hips completely open. If you have any time understanding Olympic lifts, and while these are Fat Bells, this is a clean and jerk, you want to delay bending the elbows until your hips open. Laura has a much smoother pull off the floor this way, and it's penalizing her less because of this. She does a great job at opening her hip all the way and then bending her arms after she shrugs her shoulders to get those bells to her shoulders before she presses.
McGowan and Horvath each have 4 reps remaining, and both of them have taken a break. Horvath first to get back to work. Final 2 for Laura Horvath, and now she gets to move back to the bike for 30 final calories. She has a little more than 3 minutes to track down Emily Rolfe's top time. Alex Gazan has moved in front of Tia Toomey. Gabby McGowan is back onto the bike. Toomey and Gazan. Gazan's in the pink top on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, now in the middle of your screen, who is coming off an event win last night in the 1-rep max deadlift. Won that event with a lift of 425 pounds. Moved herself into 5th place as a result.
This can create a lot of momentum for an athlete like Alex Gazan. Get those fat bells onto the mat. That's going to be a standard that she has to do before she advances. But get on that bike and get some momentum going.
McGowan and Horvath need to get to the 111 rep mark. Now Toomey just getting onto the bike.
This is where, Sean, psychologically you got to be strong. You've got to be capable of continuing to stay uncomfortable and build intensity through the finish.
Emma Carey, bottom of your screen, moving to the bike for the final time. Horvath now with 7 calories left. McGowan has 11. And Gazan has moved past Toomey. So right now, it looks like Laura Horvath is going to be your new overall leader with 2 events remaining. Final 3 calories for Laura Horvath, and she's looking to smash Emily Rolfe's top time of 12:16 and pick up her 2nd event win of the Rogue Invitational. Laura Horvath is your new leader with 2 events left. 10:43.99 seconds, and now Gabby McGowan is in. Keep an eye on the race between Alex Gazan and Tia Toomey. Gazan has about a 3-calorie lead on Toomey right now.
You really got to want it. You really got to fight. Every one of these women wants to have success. They really do. Are they willing to suffer? Are they willing to send it here, even when they have nothing left? And if you've ridden an echo bike, you've been in this situation at some time through your fitness journey. It hurts. It burns. You've got to dig. You think about pushing down in the pedals, pulling with your arms, pressing with your arms. Whatever is most tired, use the opposite body part to try to get the work done as much as you can. Urgency through the finish.
Gazan has 2 calories remaining. She's in the pink top, and she's off. And Alex Gazan is going to work her way across the finish line, and that'll be good enough for 3rd place in the event. Is now Emma Carey is across. This is big for Laura Horvath, as Emma Carey is going to take 4th place in the event. 12:16 is now the 5th best time. Toomey's off. Toomey gets in ahead of Rolfe's time. So Toomey's going to take 5th place in the event, and that's going to be worth 80 points. Laura Horvath should have a 15-point lead on Toomey with 2 events remaining. So Emma Lawson now needs to get in, because Gabby McGowan, the woman directly behind her in the overall standings, has already finished. Lawson is in. She only led McGowan, did Lawson by 20 points. And now Manon Anganese is off, and she's across the finish line. Leaves Spiegel, Kohlenbrander, and Fisher down in lanes 1, 2, and 3 as the final 3 women on the competition field.
Long down, adjusted to the bike. 30 calories.
Lauren Fisher, who is competing with a heavy heart, recently lost her mother, but has had an incredible competition. I think has exceeded a lot of people's expectations coming into this event in 8th place overall.
Cheer them on, 3 ladies. Just a few calories to go.
She's really done a great job of execution. I agree with you there, Sean. She's exceeded what I had expected of her even through this competition. And she's someone that certainly is very easy to root for. We've been rooting for many years. It's great to see her back on the scene at the elite level, competing individually.
Now Danny Spiegel is off, and Spiegel gets across well inside the time cap. Christine Kohlenbrander has 2 calories remaining.
Christine Kohlenbrander, last calorie.
Kohlenbrander's done.
Mix it across the line. Right around the 1350 mark. Lauren Fisher. Looking to finish up again.
Lauren Fisher with 4 minutes left to go. Shouldn't be a problem. But Fisher has only had 2 finishes outside the top 10 so far. That will probably change with this result.
Right through the elements with less than 4 minutes remaining. She's definitely going to finish. The question is how fast can she get it done?
Best finish was a 7th in the Circus, the event that started yesterday's slate of competition. Laura Horvath is going to get the event win. It's the 2nd of this competition, the 6th of her career at the Rogue Invitational. Ties with her 2nd most all time for women.
Less than 5 calories remaining.
Crowd still pushing Lauren to finish these calories here. They might not all be front and center because they're hiding in the covered area of the stadium.
There is a crowd on hand here, but as you said, they're all up on the concourse seeking shelter from the rain here. Now, Lauren Fisher is in, and that'll do it. Laura Horvath edging out training partner and friend Gabby McGowan by 10 seconds. And Laura Horvath will retake the overall lead from Tia Toomey, and she should have a 15-point cushion on the 3-time Rogue Invitational champion.
Yeah, she handled business, Sean. She did exactly what she needed to do. I almost guarantee you. She had this one especially marked on her target list there from once all these events got known to the athletes in regards to where she needed to hit a home run, and she did just that.
And this was an event that lined up well for Laura Horvath and her skill set.
Yeah, we talked about it lining up well, and this is why. It included 30 calories on the Echo bike as the rain was pouring down. We knew they were going to have to battle the elements. When they took the field, they'd already watched the previous women go through it. They had to be careful on the lunges. This was one of the pivots from the originally programmed workout. It was supposed to be a barbell. They were going to work through space, but it actually ended up being harder, in my opinion. That's a heavier load when it talks about being unilaterally loaded. And then, of course, she generously made her way up the hill, and then made a little bit of an audible on the way down, decided, hey, for the next 5 yards, I'm just going to take this and slide on the way down. And then on the back half of this event, it was really all Laura. She went unbroken on the lunges. Her clean and jerks are so smooth and effective. Tia had that little bit of a hitch in her clean and jerk, which I think slowed her down, particularly on the front part of the workout. She got that pre-elbow bend. It looked like that unilateral loading, which means one arm at a time, was giving her a little bit of trouble. And then it was the Laura Horvath show on the Echo bike to finish. She knew she had a lead, and she just handled exactly what she needed to do to come across as the leader after this particular event, and of course the winner of this one here.
A 2nd event win for Laura Horvath, 6th of her career at the Invitational, and she is with Kiki Dixon.